tlabe re ntse re go fa yone ka tsela e tshwanetseng gonne ga o sefa ke tiro ya rona go dira gore wena o utlwe ebile o bone se se diragalang mo Mabopane mo stadium mo re mo teng fa o tla bona mogaetsho go na le batho ba ba binang foo ba itumedisa batho ntse ba eme ka dipinanyana tse mmalwanyana wa ba bona borre ba ditai ntse ba tlhabeletsa le bone also the traditional singers from the Venda tribe also giving a rendition of various performances as we await the proceedings to get underway. One thing that you may be wondering at home is that can you participate and what is your participation in government, in parliament, in terms of effecting legislation? Well, you can also petition parliament. It's also in our constitution that you are allowed to petition parliament on any issue that you deem necessary. You can participate by providing your thoughts. You can write to parliament, and when they invite you, you can also have oral submissions. So it is not that decisions are taken without you on the other hand. I think it's also very critical because at this particular sitting comes just a few months before the national and provincial elections, which will take place next year. Obviously, the president will announce the date, will proclaim the date of the elections, and none of us know when that would be, but we just know that it's going to be in the next few months, obviously in the year of 2014. So it's good that Parliament has come this side, so to account to the people on the ground and to give report backs where necessary to hear where the people are currently, and to also make sure that the voices have their say into the legislative process. The Limpopo delegation is also present. And this is in remote areas who lack resources are. To realize its mandate means that you have, there are processes to make sure that it's done. It's imperative that there is also a light community safety in Gauteng, that is Gauteng province. They are also here to let the head of the NCOP, Mr. Minawa, president, and give the insight as to what the head of state thinks of the social challenges that are facing us. And he's watching actually, and the president. Is, the police brass band behind the drum majorettes as they usher the president inside the house. I call it the house because as the sitting gets underway, it will be the house, and the official proceedings of the NCOP will get underway. More photo opportunities, simply because this moment must be documented. It is very important, and it may seem minimal, but it is extremely crucial because it is not every day when Parliament gets to where people are. And you'd remember we come from a past where we knew very little about Parliament, particularly if you were under-resourced and you came from the disenfranchised. Little did we know about it. But now that democracy ushered in, these moments are extremely critical, and they're not just for ceremony, but they go to the core of what democracy is all about: holding the leaders accountable, the leaders coming to the people and explaining themselves, and also making sure that the people hear them from where they are. You can imagine someone who stays in Mabopane, just around the corner, can also have an opportunity to participate in parliamentary processes, hence the importance of this event. Tiro e kgolo le yone e santsane e tlo diragala mo gaetsho mmogi mo o leng kwa teng. Santsane re na le wena, re go gasetsa ka tlhamalalo re tswa mo Mabopane Stadium mo Tshwane ka pulo ya NCOP, National Council of Provinces, e tlileng go dula mo nako e sa fediseng pelo. O bone moporesidente ke yo mo monyako setse a tlo tsena, o tsamaya le mme Nomvula Mokonyane e le ene mopremiere, tonakgolo ya porofense eno ya rona ya Gauteng. Moporesidente ba mo amogela ka diatla, ba didietsa, mme ba bangwe ntse ba bina kwa morago. Jacob Zuma o tlile go dula mo setulong sa gagwe pele a fa puo e kgethegileng mo pulong ya NCOP mono mo Tshwane. Wa utlwa dipina di a mo amogela kwa morago kwa le mogi. Mo nako e sa fediseng pelo tiro e tlo simologa. In a short while, we will cross over live so that you can participate and you can hear and be part of these proceedings clearly and follow them closely once way. The president, the premier of the province, having a quick chat with the premier of KZN next to her. It appears that would have been the MEC of Social Development in the Eastern Cape, Dr. Pemi Majudina, who was seated there.
Order.
One thing for sure, as much as currently we may take such proceedings slightly, but this is where our future as South Africa Collective are determined, and it is very important that we familiarize ourselves with such processes.
Chairperson. Order, honorable members, and Zotandaza. Please be seated. Order, Twareshu. Akekho umuntu ozokhuluma lapho phansi. Sizolalela inkulumo kaMongameli. Ngeni isitulo senate to welcome the President of the Republic of South Africa, Honorable Jacobs, and you to address us. Honorable President. Mastamelu uzokhuluma nani thulani nilalele.
The Premier of Gauteng, Ms. Nomvula Mkonyane, and all, because last time I complained, the situation is the same. Repeating my complaint, I just saw a few, I thought they were all here. This is part of figures. Legislatures, the members, the diplomatic corps, community of Soshanguve. We thank the National Council of Provinces for management and this august house, the National Council of Provinces, and more in the past 5 years of the current administration, working with government to build. It is not enough. We still have a lot of work to do working together. Working together is a key to success, as emphasized by today's theme, which says, working together to ensure socio-economic development and advancement of our communities. We learn this from our founding fathers. For an example, Pixley Isaac Seme, in his historic concept paper, The Native Union, published on the 24th October 1911, in which he motivated the establishment of the ANC. He spoke eloquently about cooperation. He said the following, and I quote, I repeat, cooperation is the key and the watchword which opens the door, the everlasting door which leads into progress and all national success. The greatest success shall come when men shall have learned to cooperate, not only with his own kith and kin, but with all peoples and with all life, unquote. Indeed, working together, we will continue to do more. Working together in the past 5 years, more services have been extended to many areas and communities, resulting in the improvement of lives. These include the development of social and economic infrastructure, targeted support of industries and businesses, and creating highly needed jobs. For instance, employment has grown at an unprecedented rate of 308,000 new jobs in the quarter ending in September 2013. These figures reflect the highest rate of new jobs created in over 22 quarters and further lifts the overall figures of people in employment in South Africa to over 14 million. The people of Gauteng, Tshwane, and Soshanguve have been the biggest beneficiaries of the phenomenal jobs growth that has been registered. In the same vein, we celebrate the achievements since the advent of democracy. We believe levels of unemployment, poverty, and inequality remain unacceptably high. It is for this reason that we call for every role player to join us and seize every opportunity to accelerate the betterment of our people's lives. The progress we are making in jobs growth came as a product of massive public sector investment in social and economic infrastructure that reached new heights with over 840 billion rand spent since 2009. It is also a product of intensified collaboration of the public and private sector in driving the implementation of our economic turnaround plan adopted in 2010 to respond also to the second biggest world recession, which began in 2008, the new growth path. We are happy to announce that in every jobs drive of the NGP, the new growth path, we are making inspiring progress that reassures us that the ideals of reducing poverty, unemployment, and inequality can be achieved. These are not foreign issues to the people of Gauteng and this region. With Gautrain, rapid bus transport, road network, and telecommunications infrastructure, we did not only create thousands of jobs, but enabled the people of this region to enjoy a better quality of life. This region also has the second highest share of the 440 million rand provided by the Small Enterprise Finance Agency since its establishment in April 2012. To enhance the industrialization of the South African economy, the Industrial Development Corporation has increased its funding approval to more than 13 billion rand, enhanced by its increased appetite aimed at stimulating growth of industries. As part of our efforts to enhance manufacturing and industrialization of the South African economy, Gauteng has assembly plants for buses supplied to the municipal integrated transport system and taxis, contributing in improving locally assembled taxes from 0% 12 months ago to over 9,000 taxis entering our market in a year. The buses are manufactured in Benoni by AW construction period. Several projects being rolled out as part of the residents of Tshwane and surroundings. But in South Africa is indeed improving, and we should do it together as South Africans from various walks of life. One of the things we need to do better, say our people, is improve accountability, especially at a local level. This matter has been raised during the outreach program. At a local government level, the Code of Conduct for councillors dictates that they should be accountable to local communities and report back at least quarterly to their constituencies on council matters and municipal performance. The Minister of Cooperative Governance will work with the MECs in all provinces to intensify oversight and ensure that councillors fulfill their obligations to the communities through effective public engagement. I also wish to emphasize that it is the duty of all public office bearers to communicate with the public and not only the councillors. Ministers, deputy ministers, MECs, and mayors are also supposed to meet the public regularly to report back on services and also to obtain feedback from citizens on how services are being delivered by officials in their departments. Many have been doing over the past 5 years, but it is never enough for a vibrant democratic government like ours. South Africans, especially those who fought hard to be free, want to be engaged continuously and have strong views about how they should be governed. The Freedom Charter says the people shall govern. In this regard, the way of interaction is absolutely critical. If done correctly, continuously, engagement at all levels would eliminate the reasons for protests, as people would have more avenues to speak to government directly. Honorable members, the issue of crime has also been raised sharply, including the abuse of drugs and other substances. Drug abuse perpetuates crime. Addicts commit more crimes, robberies, break-ins, and so on, to sustain their addictions. Due to the demand that is not subsiding, drug syndicates proliferate, infiltrating even law enforcement agencies. It is even more worrying that school children are nowadays main targets of drug trade. Working together with other departments such as social development, the police will intensify their efforts to fight drug and substance abuse in these areas. The police will need the support of communities to fight drugs and substance abuse in this area. As Pixley Kaizaga Sema said, cooperation will be the key to our success. Amongst operational crime fighting issues raised, challenges at Garankuwa Police Station and the Magistrate Court, particularly regarding the escape of detainees are being addressed. In the same manner, more towards the east, in Kami Drift, the police are intensifying their fight against crime, which also includes rhino poaching. Dube Police Station in Winterfeld will also improve patrols in the areas which have been identified as crime hotspots. My mentioning of these areas and issues, Honorable Chairperson, demonstrates the power of the NCOP. It makes all of us to focus at community levels and deal with issues that affect people directly. We would continue working together to make our communities safe. Compatriots, another area that we should work together on is to fight hunger. According to the statistics SA report of 2011, approximately 12 million households are vulnerable to food insecurity. The country's socio-economic blueprint, the National Development Plan, sets out various methods and targets to eradicate poverty, reduce unemployment, and eliminate inequality by 2030. The National Development Plan makes reference to a number of steps that will improve food security, including the expanded use of irrigation, security of land tenure, especially for women and youth, and the promotion of nutrition education. In response to the National Development Plan, last week, we launched the Fetsatlala Food Production Program in Kuruman to eradicate hunger while promoting food security. 2 billion rand has been made available this financial year for farmer support programs, and 72% of it will be used for food production to support Fetsatlala program. The program will be administered by the departments of agriculture in the provinces. About 100,000 hectares of land will be put under production through these programs. We trust that Fetsatlala will encourage the development of food gardens in all households. lolu hlelo olusha lukahulumeni lokulima olubizwa ngokuthi ifetsahlala ukuqeda indlala ludalelwe ukusiza umphakathi nabalimi abancane ukuze bakhiqize ukudla okuzosiza imiphakathi kanye nemindeni yabo. Masilime sixoshe indlala eningizimu Afrika yonke ngalolu hlelo esilubiza ngokuthi iqeda indlala, fetsahlala. Through fetsahlala, we are building on the good work that government has been doing already. We have already spent over 3 billion rand since 2009 through the Comprehensive Agricultural Support Program and the Ilima Litsema program. The two programs support smallholder farmers and vulnerable households to produce food. The support is in the form of infrastructure such as fences, boreholes, irrigation systems, poultry, houses, shearing sheds, and storage facilities. It is also through production inputs such as seeds, fertilizers, chemicals, day-old chickens, sheep, and others. Government also provides targeted training for farmers and the provision of extension advisory support. Over 102,606 beneficiaries were reached during this period. Compatriots, work continues to extend services in the areas of health, social development, water, electricity, and a host of others that were raised during visits by MPs to various communities. Life is certainly much better than it was before 1994. Over the last 20 years, we have worked together to change the face of our country. We have worked hard to improve people's lives, especially the poor. But the struggle against poverty and unemployment must continue. We must work harder to make sure that every South African can live and work in dignity. Government will work harder to improve the pace of implementation and speed up the delivery of services. We are making progress in our public infrastructure program. The economy will begin to grow faster as we overcome bottlenecks in transport, electricity, water, and other sectors. Although economic transformation will take time, government has put in place complementary policies that boost employment and economic participation. These include the Public and Community Works Program, the Employment Tax Incentive Bill, will also help to absorb our people into work, especially the youth. As the global outlook improves, we will also see an improvement in growth and the job opportunities of our people can also succeed. But South Africans cannot rely on outside developments to come to rescue. Citizens must work with government to ensure social and economic development and build our communities ourselves. The National Development Plan provides a program that can unite us as we build a faster growing and more inclusive economy. The plan promotes greater competitiveness, expanded public and private infrastructure, vibrant cities in which we all have a stake, and stronger rural development. It is important that the government, business, organized workers, and active citizens all collaborate on strengthening development and inclusive economic growth in our country. We have done it before, and we will continue to build on these strengths. We have a beautiful country. We have done a lot since 1994 to build it. We must now move ahead together in building a truly united, non-racial, non-sexist, prosperous society in which all citizens can look ahead and anticipate a brighter future. Masisebenzisane ukwakha iningizimu Afrika ehlangene engacwasi umuntu ngokwebala. Nangobulili nenethemba lentuthuko lempilo engcono kubo bonke abantu. We thank the NCOP for bringing Parliament to Tshwane. It is absolutely important that Parliament comes to the capital city to be seen by the citizens of this. Chairperson, I must say, the NCOP has this program, which I think is an outstanding program to take Parliament to the people. I wish you will continue to do so, now, even during other administrations. It gives an opportunity to people to interact with the people they elected, to question them, to criticize them, but also to raise issues of concern, as well as suggest the ways and means they believe things should be done in the process of the governance of our country. It is one element in our democracy which is very important, that brings democracy practically to the people. So you should continue the program throughout the country. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Siyabonga kakhulu President ngamazwi asikhuthaza.
Sana nombuso wasemakhaya zonke lezo zinto sezisukumile zenziwe. It's an achievement that we have got when we went there. Empumalanga besiye khona ngoMarch kuye lonyaka the Minister of Sports and Recreation delivered on his commitment of making available sporting equipment for the youth in Sibande district. A partnership number 2 with the Mines of Community Development led to a 19 million project that has been rolled out to provide facility such as the industrial park in Bad Plus, in the community facility, and some traditional offices and roads have been built there and the money has been allocated. That's an achievement that we have achieved in going there. Size lapha ke namhlanje eGauteng. Nazi ezinye izinto enikhulume ngazo phakathi kweviki uma kade sikhona lapha kini. Nikhulume ngendaba yama-title deeds. Ngiyabonga kakhulu ukuthi isithi seyiqalile kanye nohulumeni weprovince ukulungisa leyo ndaba yama-title deed. Nikhalile ngayo, sizosebenzisana kanye nabo, bawumbuso thina siwuparlamente ukuze zonke lezo zinto sizinqobe, asikayohlala phansi uma sisuka la. Enye enivezile indaba kakhulu i-abuse of the substance abuse, ama-drug, umongameli usekhulumile ngawo. Siyancenga ukuthi labantu abenza ama-drugs bavezeni beze phambili sikwazi ukuthi la phakathi masisebenze sonke ukuze lo mbuso wethu obuhle kangaka uphumelele uye phambili ezikolweni. Sizoyithatha ke le ndaba ukuze lama accesses abe khona futhi avuleke. Sebenze kakhulu nginethemba uPremier Mile uyayazi futhi indaba yakhe. Ngiyabonga kakhulu. Indaba yezithi nikhohliwe. Cha. Unithembisile uyonakhela isibhedlela esikhulu esedlula iDr. Mkhalo ningasalinda amalayini amade yabo bazibophezele ukuthi bazozenza lezo zinto. Indaba ngi-analyze lento sisengabafundisi kahle ukuthi ba-access abafuna ukwenza ama-business plan bangawathola kanje the city and the province. Umbono omuhle kakhulu ke loyo. Ngiyathanda ukuthi nginibonge. Ngibonga staff sonke, advocate Phindela kanye nabantu bakho. Ngithi ngiyabonga umsebenzi ohambe kahle. Thina ke into esizoyenza sizobuya futhi la sizobheka ukuthi lezi zinto ezikhulunyiwe ziyenzeka yini. Ngiyabonga mgcini sihlalo.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Chairperson. Good morning, Mawweni, Salam Alaikum, Honorable Councillors, Honorable Mayors, and all the community present today, I greet you. Honorable Chairperson, I would like to quote one of our greatest leaders of our community and worldwide, none other than the President Nelson Mandela, former President. Open quote, "Overcoming poverty is not a task of charity, it is an act of justice. Like slavery and apartheid, poverty is not natural, it is man-made, and it can be overcome and eradicated by the actions of human beings. Sometimes it falls in generations to come." Honorable Chairperson, the team of 2013 Taking Parliament to the People, socio-economic development through oversight and public participation is interesting as today, and the past week we have members from the community participating in Taking Parliament to the People. A very fundamental part of oversight is to assess if the expenditure of funds have achieved the outcomes planned by Parliament. Poor or non-implementation causes delays or prevent transformation as it should happen, and this leads to protests and community members damaging government properties. If a socio-economic development program is implemented correctly, it creates a sustainable economy accessible for its beneficiaries. If an open opportunity environment is created, people will be self-sustainable and the economy will grow and people's lives will improve. People won't be dependable on the government. Honorable Chairperson, I've been privileged to engage with many community members during the past week, and some of them have never had the opportunity to participate in public participation with their local councillors or local leaders. These community members present at the gathering feel privileged to be part of the Taking Parliament to the People. Honorable President, The people of Winterveld, Hammanskraal, Kameelsdrift, Mabopane, Eersterus and surrounding areas have been bussed into this venue to participate in taking Parliament to the people. And yes, this is public participation at its best. We just hope and pray that once we leave this venue, the lives of the people and the community, the elderly, the youth, and especially the disabled community will be part of an improved plan. During September, we did our plenary visit and ended up with a public meeting on the 20th of September 2013. At this meeting, the community once again voiced their dissatisfaction of the mayor, councillors, and officials not being present in this august gathering. They also uttered allegations and their dissatisfaction of the local councillors and officials who are involved in illegal activities and who are part of the beneficiaries involved in as recipients of tendering. Honourable President, I hope sincerely that these allegations are investigated, as once again, the whole week similar utterances were made by the community present. On Wednesday, the 30th of October, we went on an oversight to the Temba water treatment plant. This is a project of the feeder pipeline in Winterveld, Mabopane. During public participation this week, the community raised concerns of this project having open trenches, which is very dangerous to the people and especially to the children. They also stated that not many locals are employed in this multi-million rand project. This project started in 2006 and is still not completed. According to the project manager, more budget is required to complete the last phase, which is phase B. What is peculiar, Honourable Chairperson, is that we were told by the project manager of the city of Tshwane that it has, and I quote, as and when a policy which allows people to be awarded tenders at the same contractors without tendering because they are on a database. In this instance, a contractor was awarded a tender of the amount of approximately 25 million over 2 different phases. Another instance is a project that was awarded to the contractor who, and I quote, had lack of experience and proper planning by the contractor, close quote, but was also on the database on this as and when awarded a contract of 14 million. Honourable Chairperson, how do you award contracts without following the proper tendering procedure? And to crown it all, to a contractor who is not competent. It's not a couple of thousand rand we're talking about, but 14 million rand. Honourable President, we need to have an open opportunity society where people can feel freely to participate in a tendering process and be awarded on merit and not on who you know or as and when. Now a further 18 million is needed from the reduced budget to complete this project as scheduled. Only 25 local people have benefited through this multi-million rand project. In conclusion, Honourable Deputy Chairperson, urgent intervention is needed to excel service delivery and transformation. It is not necessary for the people of Gauteng to hear that the ruling party do not need their dirty vote. I'd like to remind the people that they must go out on the 9th and 10th to register so that they can vote next year in 2014 and register for the government they want. I thank you. Siyabonga.
Siyabonga Nkosazana Abrams. May I now call upon the MSC from Free State, Honorable Khutule.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Honorable President, Honorable Chair of the NCOP, Honorable Premiers and MECs that are here present, Honorable Members of the National Assembly, ladies and gentlemen and comrades. Today, when we talk of what we are doing to ensure that the socio-economic development and advancement of our communities is realized, there are a number of issues that come to mind There's a peculiar situation in the Free State where you find that today, because many young people are not active in areas that promote their lives, we have an issue of gangsters or gangsterism that we have been fighting for or against. In one of the areas where I come from, 2 years ago, there were issues of gangsters where there were about 27 gangsters. By June this year, there were 42. The reason why these gangsters grew up in this particular manner, where the Honorable B.M. Guni comes from in Ordinals Res, it is because of this old saying that an idle mind is the devil's workshop. Now, when there are no opportunities for young people to be engaged in areas that would keep them busy and focused, other people get them engaged in activities that defocuses them. When we grew up, a number of us, there were those who were much older than us who created an opportunity for us to play soccer, volleyball, dance, karate, and become involved in many other meaningful activities. Today, we are proud to report that ever since we started a program on the 24th of June, and which had its finals on the 13th of July, from the 42 gangs that existed in that particular area, we are now struggling to kill the last 8 groups, and there's no gangsterism at that particular area. This we have managed to realize working together with the community development workers and the police in that particular locality. Because of the success of this particular program in areas like Botshabelo and Virginia, where there has been reported cases of gangsterism, we have extended our work to cover those particular areas, and we have done extremely well. We have taken an opportunity or an advantage of the centrality of the Free State and begin to maximize for opportunities that we would have to realize in promoting sport tourism by launching the National Training Center in the Free State, which then means that for all South African teams, whether they prepare for Commonwealth Games, whether they prepare for Rio 2016, for conditioning, scientific support, and all preparatory work that has to be done, it would be done in the Free State so that we can promote sport tourism. Consistent with the government's approach and plan of achieving clean audit in 2014, the Free State provincial government has already achieved clean audit, which is being led by the Premier's department, the Department of Treasury, which has been joined in the last financial year's audit by Sport, Arts, Culture, and Recreation, and we have seen an improvement in the Department of Road, Police and Transport and Social Development, which are very hopeful that they will join these other departments in Operation Clean Audit. Our municipalities have also shown a great improvement in the audit outcomes. A lot still needs to be done in helping municipalities to work around their assets and clean it. The Free State Provincial Government, up to now, it has issued over 850 million rands from 2009 to invest in skills through the bursaries that we have allocated to over 6,000 bursary holders of the Free State who are scattered across all universities of the Free State and abroad. We are very proud that we are investing in scarce skills in the area of civil engineering, accountancy, and many, many other fields, including engineering. Honorable President, Chairperson of the NCOP, we are very happy and proud to say that we have made a significant and the necessary investment in the youth of our province, in the youth of our country, which is an exercise that is intended to make sure that we indeed have a better future which would be secure in the hands of the youth that would lead the country tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Ke a leboga. I'll now call upon the Premier of KZN, Ms. Mthuno.
Honorable Chairperson of the NCOP, Bab Mahlangu, and Honorable Deputy Chairperson of the NCOP, Mamemela, His Excellency the President of the Republic, Premier of Gauteng and other premiers who are here, honorable members of the House, and all the people of Soshanguve, people of Tswana, led by His Worship, the Mayor of Tswana, and all councillors present. Our appreciations for this opportunity to participate in this meeting of the NCOP in Gauteng. It is indeed a great opportunity to participate in the discussions on building our country in a manner that involves all of us. The meeting takes place, among others, in the context of the struggle towards Millennium Development Goals, which has a deadline of 2015. And indeed, it is a period in which most of the nations of the world agreed that by this time around they would have achieved a number of things in the aspect of life of our people. We're happy that in our province, in KwaZulu-Natal, we've ensured that we make moves in terms of contributing towards our overall goal as a country in making progress in this regard. We're, however, aware that we have a challenge in the reduction of child mortality, a bit of a challenge in improving maternal health, and a bit of a challenge in HIV and AIDS. But we're seeing strides and achievement at the same time on these very challenges that I'm counting. As far as the National Development Plan is concerned, we've developed our own KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Growth and Development Strategy, which is in line with the National Development Plan. And with it, we want to take advantage of our province and make sure that all the endowments that we have in our province are actually exploited for economic development and the well-being of our people, together with all our partners in the province. Of course, we are the second largest economy after Gauteng, and a number of things have fallen into an environment in which we can make progress. And the first one is stability, political stability in our province. We're no longer identifying ourselves or identified as a province of violence, and as a province in which there is political tension between all of us. And of course, my counterpart, Nomvula, should be very happy because if KwaZulu-Natal is quiet and stable, you won't see any problem in Gauteng, because all your problems came from KwaZulu-Natal. And now that we've achieved political stability up to this point, we're very happy that we can now allow ourselves to concentrate our energies on something else. We saw something we'd never seen before, a very quiet 3 by-elections in an area that was actually the backbone of instability in our province, KwaNongoma, where the ANC, the IFP, and the NFP were campaigning shoulder to shoulder in one place. And all of us were shaking hands and talking to people, and there was peace. And this is an indication that our political system in the province, and of course, therefore in the country, is maturing. We have a number of key points that we think our eyes have to be laid on for future economic development. The first one is the Dubai Trade Port, which avails to ourselves many possibilities. I don't have time to count all of them here. But other than Dubai Trade Port, we have possibility of developing our marine industry because of our location. But we also have the two ports, both the Port of Durban and the Port of Richards Bay. All of these natural resources and Dubai Trade Port, which is our own making, avails to us possibilities to improve the people's life through economic development at a faster rate. Of course, we are also seeing improvement in local government, both in governance and delivery, but also in in financial management. But the most interesting issue is around delivery. We now have achieved 76.669% in terms of delivery of electricity. That is overall coverage in our province on electricity provision, 78% of water. And of course, we still have a little bit of a backlog in housing, especially in the metro, but we are dealing with those. But we're happy that overall, we have made improvements on governance at local government level. Indeed, we can only make progress in our country and in our province, Honorable President, if there is cooperation among all of us, as we have emphasized. And in this regard, we have the KZN Planning Commission as a role player, Premier's Coordinating Forum as a role player, the HIV and AIDS Council as a role player, KZN Growth Coalition as a role player, the PPEE Council as a role player, Human Resource Development Council, and a number of other agencies and other forums, all of which come together and to cooperate so that KwaZulu-Natal can grow. This includes His Majesty the King and also traditional leadership. We can assure you, Honorable President, that we'll do everything in our power, in our energy in the province to make sure that the country indeed achieve its goals with us making our maximum contribution. With this once more, we wish all the people of South Africa and all the people of Soshanguve and Tswane happy Christmas. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Premier. I'll now call upon Honorable Make.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Chairperson. Honorable Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, the Honorable President of the Republic of South Africa, Honorable Ministers of the Republic, Honorable Premiers, and the Honorable Premier of Gauteng Province, MECs in the different provinces of the Republic, Honorable Mayors, the Mayor of the City of Tshwane, Honorable Members of the NCOP, and the Honorable Special Delegates, priests, members of different religious denominations, members of the Royal Houses and His and Her Majesties, members of the public, and in particular residents of Mabopane, Soshanguve, Winterfeld, Temba, and surrounding areas, all protocol observed. Honorable Chairperson, it is indeed a rare and distinct honor to be given an opportunity to address this honorable House. We are addressing this House at a time in the history of South Africa as we approach the end of the term of the office of the 4th parliamentary sitting of the Republic of South Africa. Honorable Chairperson, it has indeed been a long road since the release of political prisoners who were incarcerated in the different prisons of the Republic simply because of a commitment to destroy a system dubbed a crime against humanity by the United Nations. The release of political prisoners was epitomized by the release of the icon of the people's struggles of the beloved South Africa, Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela. Our prayers are with you. The road has indeed been a long one from the return of political exiles who returned home from deep wounds of having been forced to run away from their comfort, the comfort of their homes, in order to go outside of the Republic, to go and seek ways of engaging the apartheid regime through armed struggle and international mobilization. It was indeed humbling to see the champion of the struggles of the people of South Africa in the embodiment of Oliver Reginald Tambo kissing the grounds of the then Jan Smuts Airport, aptly named O.R. Tambo International Airport by the present government. It has indeed been a long road since the days when South Africa was a securocrat and the Caspers and Nyalas had infested our roads. Indeed then, as you were moving around our streets, police and security forces were busy committing heinous crimes to our people, including but not limited to maiming innocent citizens of our communities. Indeed, what a long road from the days of the Bantustan homeland system. It was this system that culminated in the people of Mabopane and those of Soshanguve belonging to different governments under the racially discriminative system that extended its divisive tentacles to divisions based on language. It has indeed been a long road since decisions of Parliament were based on aspirations of a few white Afrikaner men. These decisions would have far-reaching effects on the lives of many who occupied our beautiful land. These same decisions could not be challenged even by the highest courts of the land. Amongst the most oppressive laws of the then illegitimate government was the Group Areas Act, the Land Act of 1913, and a series of oppressive security laws, to name but a few. It has indeed been a long road since the black majority wouldn't dare to vote for the government of their choice. It is this black majority that was considered to be of low quality intelligence and therefore simply qualified to be taught Bantu education, which would make them to be qualified laborers. And indeed, basic language to communicate with the bosses. Yes, indeed, the People's Liberation Movement under the leadership of the African National Congress saw it fit to challenge these anomalies. It was indeed the late icon of the struggle, Oliver Tambo, who saw it fit circa 1993 that he should instruct one of the best brains in Judge Albisachs to develop constitutional principles that saw the birth of the Harare Declaration. To deviate a bit, it was this same Albi who was subjected to a car bomb in Maputo, and I'm told one of the first things that he did after gaining consciousness, he went on to put his remaining hands between his thighs and indeed showed a sigh of relief, and years later a son was born. And we are proud as the people of Limpopo to announce that the son has visited us at Ramolepo to pay dowry in exchange of a wife. Yes, indeed, the constitutional principles as enshrined in the Harare Declaration has given birth to one of the most celebrated constitutions in the world, the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, which, with its basic human rights embedded in it. This is indeed worth celebration since it has done away with parliamentary sovereignty and replaced it with constitutional democratic sovereignty. It is only those with a myopic intelligence in the art of woodwork that might not be able in their wildest of dreams to realize that this government as led by the African National Congress and as led by the African National Congress has made serious gains for humanity and South Africans at large through this, our Constitution of the Republic. Chairperson, we have alluded above to the fact that the majority of our people were disenfranchised during the rule by force by architects and implementers of apartheid. Today, the African National Congress, in partnership with progressives in our land, makes it a norm that every 5 years, not only national and provincial elections are held, but also local government elections. This is indeed an achievement worth noting. Chair, we are here today to have this public participation event because as Democrats, we are indeed committed to a rule and a government by the people for the people. People are directly involved in governance processes, including but not limited to making parliamentarians accountable to them, but also making direct input to Parliament. Honorable Chair, it is only those who dare insult their parents against principles as laid in the Holy Bible. It is indeed those who still wish oppressive apartheid should be brought back. It is those who still require cheap labor of the past. It is those who does not want the land of South Africa to belong to all. It is those who are still trapped in infantile disorder and proletariat lumpency who can see that the dark South Africa has turned bright. We are saying South Africa is bright because moving through the far-flung remote areas such as Ntsopilong in Gauteng, Katomo in Limpopo, villages surrounding Badplaas in Mpumalanga, the most remote villages of KwaZulu-Natal and the Eastern Cape, our people are proud to switch on electricity in their homes. Honorable Chair, our people have been exposed to an integrated education system since the dawn of democracy. Today, more than ever, the numbers of graduandees has increased. More than ever before, the Republic of South Africa has international friendships and cooperation agreements. It is a package as a whole. Honorable Chair, lastly but not least, it is worth noting that under the tutelage of the African National Congress, we have a social security system that has found no match internationally. We are able to take care of the aged through a system that is based on a month-to-month income. We are able to cater for children-headed families through this system. We are able to cater for
Honorable
war
Member,
veterans.
could you please conclude?
I thank you.
Bantu bakithi nihleli lapho ngemuva. Ngiyacela ukuthi amazwi akabe phansi ngoba kuzogcina singasazwani la ngaphambili. Ngiyabonga. Ngicela ukuphakamisa Honorable M Zulu.
Mhlonishwa iphini likaSihlalo womkhandlu wezifundazwe, usihlalo lomkhandlu, uMengameli wezwe Msholozi, ondunankulu bezifundazwe abakhona phakathi kwethu, amalungu esishayamithetho, ama-special delegates, namalunga eParliament ku-NCOP. Mhlonishwa Mengameli, kuyintokozo enkulu ukuba siphinde sihlangane nomphakathi walapha eTshwane eSoshanguve, lapha sizobheka izinto ezinhle ezenzekile emphakathweni wethu kanye nentuthuko nezinselelo ezikhona kuhulumeni wethu ozigaba ezintathu. Ngoba ezinye izinto kufanele Mhlonishwa Mengameli sizivume ukuthi asikakwazi ukufinyelela kukho konke ngokukhulu ukusheshsha. Kodwa Mhlonishwa Mengameli kuyithuba lapho ukuthi njengamaqembu ezombusazwe ehlukene kungabi yona inkundla le la abantu bakithi bedinga uyinsiza kusebenza noma bedinga ukuthuthukiswa kube lapho esokhombana khona ngenjumbane. Kodwa yilapho kufanele sihlanganyele khona sonke sikwazi ukubona ukuthi sokuxazulula kanjani lokho kuyizethembiso okusokuthenjiswe abantu bakithi njengabavoti. Inselelo ezikhona ngithi ngiyakuncoma ukuthi uyavuma ukuthi ikhona inselelo ngoba umuntu uma egula engasho ukuthi ugula kuphi elokhu ethi uyaphila sokuyinkinga leyo. Kodwa ke manje kudinga ukusizwa njengohulumeni ukuba sikwazi ukubhekana nazo zonke ezinye izinkinga ukuba sikwazi ukuthuthukisa phambili. Inkinga enkulu ukuba sibhekisise uhlelo lwezindlu through your monitoring system ukuthi zishesha kangakanani ukuya emphakathini. Inkinga enkulu kuthina futhi njengosombusazwe ukuthi kwabona abantu bakithi mase beyicoshile izindlu akufanele bese beyiqashisa bebuye bokwakhe eminye imikhukhu kwezinye indawo. Ngikubuka ukuthi isifundazwe seGauteng sinenkinga esingeke sikwazi ukuyixazulula nami ngoze ngihambe emhlabeni singayixazululi ngoba zonke izifundazwe ezisishagalombili eNingizimu Afrika yilapha abantu bakithi bephelela khona ukuzobheka amathuba angconywana emsebenzi. Okuziyinkinga ke lezo ofuneka zibhekisiswe ngezindlela zonke. Sengigcina mhlonishwa mengameli. Labo MEC ababhekele lokho kuthiwa local government uCOPTA abayeke manje ukuthi bethathe ukuthi imikhandlu le ekhona ayiyona ohulumeni. Bona bawazi ukwenza noma imuphi omunye umthetho ephumile phandle ethi ngifaka section 139B. Bawuhulumeni laba bantu. Akasitshele ukuthi ikupha abasizile mabengakwazi ukuthuthukisa abantu ukuthi wenzani nani wayesengenelela. Engaphumi bese tshena umhlaba osekufanele ukuthi thina sizorabha stemba la ngoba ngeke bekuthande that minister in the national level ezosuka nje efike ethi department ethile ngiyayithatha ku province engakaze kulandela ama processes. Izinkinga esihlangabezana nazo kuwo wonke lemkhandlu esesihambele kulezi izifundazwe ukuthi oMEC bagijima phambili. Kuhloka leyo nto ke ngeke ngayichaza msholozi ukuthi yini. Mphathi wahlelo ngibonge phindika sihlalo ukuthi abantu bakithi kufanele ukuthi bekwazi ukuzenzela singabheki kuhulumeni. Ngiyakuvuma futhi ukuthi kufanele nathi njengosombusazwe sikwazi ukufundisa abantu bakithi ukuthi kuya kanjani ukwakheka kwamabhizinisi. Bese ngithi kumengameli wezwe njengenhloko yezwe lama bank lokuthiwa ama major banks alapha eSouth Africa u4 nawo afuna phela ukubizwa ixoxisana ukuthi abantu bakithi kufanele phela ekwazi ukubanikeza osheleni ngoba ngeke ukwazi uba ukwakha amathenda ungenabo osheleni. Ngiyabonga.
Sibongile. I'll now call upon Honorable Hetnick.
His Excellency, Honorable President Jacob Zuma, Honorable Chairperson Mashlangu, Honorable Deputy Chairperson Mamela, Premiers, MECs, MPs, MPLs, Mayors, Speakers, Councillors, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Chairperson, I am honored to be participating in this significant debate, especially since socio-economic development is a necessity in not only the Western Cape, but South Africa as a whole. In 2014, we will celebrate 20 years of our young democracy. As a member of the Western Cape Provincial Legislature, we play an important role in the execution of oversight in terms of legislative developments, implementation of laws, application of budgets, and the effective management of government departments. Oversight by Parliament is instrumental in characterizing good democratic principles, most importantly, accountability. We have to keep in mind that one cannot separate quality oversight from meaningful public participation. The National Development Plan, as a government policy document, will enhance the aspirations of our people. Chair, public participation is a fundamental dimension of democracy and an important factor in the strengthening and maturing of democracies. The International Association for Public Participation has developed core values for public participation for use in the development and implementation of public participation processes. They include public participation is based on the belief that those who are affected by decision have a right to be involved in the decision-making process. It includes the promise that the public's contribution will influence the decision. It also promotes sustainable decisions by recognizing and communicating the needs and interests of all participants, including decision makers. It seeks out and facilitates the involvement of those potentially affected by or interested in a decision. It communicates to participants how their input affected the decision. Public participation does not only apply to the public participating in legislative processes, but also taking Parliament to the people. This refers to members of Parliament going on oversight visits on the ground, especially in areas which are not in close proximity to their respective legislatures, such as deep rural areas. This way, parliamentarians can see the conditions under which citizens are living firsthand and subsequently consider ways of redressing social ills and how best to deliver the necessary services according to the different needs of the area. To ensure effective public participation, the public has to have access to information. Access to information is not only a constitutional right, but an important prerequisite for effective public participation in a manner that is accessible to all. Children, people with disabilities, people living in rural and under-resourced areas, and people with limited literacy as a result of the legacy of the past have a need to get information. The Western Cape Department of the Premier recognized that many poor and marginalized communities suffer from economic exclusion due to geographic and historic isolation, low levels of ICT knowledge and skills, the lack of economic development and infrastructure in their areas, and the lack of information on job opportunities. The various locations for Cape Access across the province allows a wider range of the population access to information of educational purposes, tender and business opportunities, government information and services such as filing of tax returns and paying municipal accounts, licenses and fines. I commend the Department of the Premier on their innovative methods in creating an open opportunity society for all, so that people can live lives that they value, especially those from poorer communities. I also encourage the department to continue enabling optimal service delivery by providing strategic direction and innovative information and communication technologies in the Western Cape, so to increase public participation. Soshanguve, thanks for your hospitality, but most of all, to the Gogos and the youth who really impressed me with their inspiring inputs and comments during this week. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. I'll now call the Honorable Premier of Limpopo, Honorable Mabtabate.
Thank you, Honorable Deputies. Chairperson, His Excellency, the President of our country, Mr. Jacob Zuma, Chairperson and Deputy Chairperson of the NCOP, Premiers and legislatures, distinguished guests in their own governance. It sits very well with the ethos and practice of the tradition of the liberation movement of our phenomenal interaction between members. Listen to the people of this province with a view to provide them with much needed leadership and direction on otherwise varied technology challenges. In doing this, not only did public representatives reaffirm the value of the expression, as the President has already said, in the Freedom Charter that says the people shall govern, but was also significantly able to get a first-hand account of people's daily life and experiences. This, honorable members, honorable President, honorable Chairperson, gives expression to the slogan that we always use that says, Matla, and our people says, Kiarina. This is a slogan, as you correctly put it, honorable Chairperson of the House, which is not just a slogan, but is an expression of participatory democracy, and at the same time, a call to unity, because it is saying to us that Matla can only be to the people and not to the bureaucracy. That is why, honorable members, you would find that in most instances, when we call this slogan, we do it with a solid fist and not with an open palm. A solid fist which indicates that's wena ole mopedi, wena ole Mchangani, wena ole Muzulu, wena ole Mutswana, as individual fingers, galena matla. But once you unite, then you become a formidable force, lenalamat. This, to me, is both an expression of participatory democracy and a call to unity. Honorable members, as Mao Zedong of China sums it up, he says, people and the people alone are the motive force in the making of world history. This he said in a statement in 1945 in his interaction with the people of China. Simply put, honorable members, this means that without this ongoing interaction with the masses of our people, we would never be able to determine things which are our people's needs, and things which our people already have, or things that already lie in abundance amongst our people. It further means that our shortcomings and tribulations can never be fully appreciated as we would like them to be, nor our breakthroughs recognized or seen as we ourselves would expect. Keeping our ears on the ground forms the hallmark of a democratic practice and shall at all times be promoted. Honorable President, Honorable Deputy Chairperson, we would therefore like to applaud the NCOP for taking this bold initiative of ensuring that our parliament and legislature indeed become the true voices and ears of our people. We have always noted that most of the concerns raised throughout this week are common to those we normally encounter in our various provinces during our outreach programs of the Executive Council and Batopele road shows. In the rural areas of our country, where some of our provinces are located, there continues to be an outcry about lack of basic services such as water, electricity, sanitation, and roads. Whilst faced with these hardships, our people still have not lost hope in their government. They remain confident and determined to untangle the negativities that hold them back. They are certain that today will be better than tomorrow, as today is now better than yesterday. It is also comforting to note that most of the concerns and issues raised by our people inform our broad government program, which therefore confirms that our government is indeed in touch with its citizens. Honorable President,
councillors, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, but most importantly, community members of Soshanguve and elsewhere in our country. On behalf of the Premier of the Northern Cape, Premier Ms. Sylvia Lucas, we are greatly honored and privileged to participate in the National Council of Provinces under the rubric of taking Parliament to the people. This is indeed a concrete exercise to ensure that we use our parliamentary processes to deepen democracy through mobilization of our masses and of our people to participate effectively in governance processes. Correctly so, the theme of this occasion, working together to ensure socio-economic development and advancement of our communities, highlights the determination with which we must respond to the three-pronged challenges of unemployment, inequality, and poverty, to create a thriving economy that will create the necessary opportunities for our people sooner rather than later. The ANC-led government has since 1994 made substantial progress in consolidating democracy, in achieving political stability, in extending basic services, and promoting respect for values. It is our shared responsibility to ensure that we continue building a strong and prosperous nation. As the Northern Cape Provincial Government, we have contributed towards speeding up the provision of decent housing, water, sanitation, health facilities, education institutions, electricity, infrastructure, including roads and ablution facilities, sustainable agriculture, and several others. We were also greatly inspired by the 2011 census report, which allowed us the opportunity to gauge progress in a wide range of service delivery areas. Some of the results are as follows. The official unemployment rate of the Northern Cape has declined from 35.7% in 2001 to 27.4% in 2011. While the average household income more than doubled over the same period. 82% of households reside in formal housing. The percentage of persons 20 years or older with no schooling has decreased from 22.7% in 1996 to 11.3% in 2011. While the percentage of persons with metric or higher more than doubled from 11.1 in 1996 to 23% in 2011. The Northern Cape, despite being by far the most water-scarce province, managed to reduce the percentage of households without access to piped water from 6% to 2.6%. This is far better than the national average of 8.8 and places the Northern Cape in the 4th position nationally. Also, more than 90% of households have access to water inside their dwellings or in their yards. More than 85% of households use electricity as a power source. 2/3 of our households have access to flush toilets, although the percentage of households using bucket system has significantly decreased from 10% to 4% in 2011. The issue of acceptable levels of sanitation still needs attention. Ladies and gentlemen, 2 years ago, our President, Mr. Jacob Zuma, made a commitment to advance socio-economic development in South Africa through fast-tracking critical infrastructure development. As guided by the New Growth Pact, shortly after this, the Presidential Infrastructure Coordinating Commission announced 17 strategic integrated projects, that is SIPs, which soon became 18. This is a crucial initiative for the country as well as the Northern Cape. The province has been prioritized in the following SIPs. SIP 3, the Waterzell to Kuga railway line upgrade. SIP 5, the Sishen and Saldanha railway upgrade. SIP 8, the renewable energy. The bulk of solar and substantial wind projects have been assigned to the Northern Cape. SIP 10, the electricity transmission and distribution, will see substantial projects leading into the Hamahara mining corridor and the solar corridor of the province. SIP 14, dealing with higher education and therefore the Northern Cape University. This SERP is of utmost importance for our province. The establishment of new university will undoubtedly elevate our education system to new heights and optimally develop the intellectual capacity of our youth and help our people to live happier and more fulfilling lives. There is no doubt in our minds that the establishment of the university will provide critical skills to the key sectors locally and also will serve as a much-needed local knowledge partner to advance research and innovation. We are pleased that the first intake will be in 2014. Sub 16, which is the SKA and Meerkat, the Northern Cape, with the Northern Cape hosting the bulk of the physical infrastructure related to this project, it is highly prioritized by the province. The SKA is another major project which is located in our province that has the potential to attract investment opportunities to our province and create opportunities to the local people. Our young people will be exposed from a very early age to the fields of science, technology, and engineering. Honorable Chair, we will continue on our path to ensure that we discharge our responsibility diligently and so that we better the lives of the citizens, of the people of the Northern Cape. Government is ensuring that health services are brought within easy reach to the people, including communities in rural areas. We are making a lot of efforts to create and increase the number of hospitals, clinics, and health centers, especially in our rural areas. Eradicating poverty is another priority in our government's effort to build a better life for all. We have, through the War Against Poverty program, identified and profiled the poorest section of our communities throughout the province for direct intervention to alleviate their plight. This intervention has ensured that we are able to put food on the table of the poor and who otherwise have gone to bed without food. We have been able to implement programs and policies that create economic opportunities for our communities through the EPWP and other related functions. Honorable Chair, the Northern Cape is a mining and farming province, and we need to see these sectors of economy responding in a meaningful manner to the socio-economic conditions of our people. The potential of agriculture to contribute to job creation is well known. A significant opportunity to provide employment and enhance food security lies in the agricultural sector. We need to empower our previously disadvantaged households to become involved in agriculture and make sure they gain access to arable land to sustain their livelihoods. We are also pleased to report that just a week ago, the Honorable President Jacob Zuma launched the Fitz-Atala Food Production Program in Kuruman. This program aims to contribute to the eradication of hunger and ensure food security and benefit our communities, especially those in the rural areas. We believe that smallholder farmers have crucial and active role to play in the economic growth and the reduction of poverty. Through Fitz-Atala, all underutilized agricultural land must be put under production. We are encouraging people to go back to farming. The revitalization of the Fallards irrigation scheme is highly appreciated. But of concern, Honorable President, is the fact that our province has experienced severe drought conditions due to the low rainfall figures, especially in John Taule Gaetsewe district. We are thus appealing to the urgent intervention and are calling upon the National Department of Coxstar and through the National Disaster Center to declare the province a disaster area. We are facing a serious crisis as the drought conditions are worsening and the livestock are dying like flies. We plead for immediate drought relief measures to be instituted to turn the situation around. On the mining front, the mining houses must ensure that the extraction of the mineral resources benefits the people of the province. I'm rounding up. Benefit the people of the province, and we must ensure that the economic development of the Northern Cape is linked to these activities. Lastly, people of Soshanguve and our country at large, allow me to thank our government, particularly Ubaba Mahlangu, for this program. As the 2012 hosts, I can confirm here and now that this program left us, the people of the Northern Cape, more confident in our government, more trustworthy to our government, and our public reps are more focused to improve on service delivery. And indeed, that program boosted the SMMEs of the area. People are indeed appreciating the role of our government. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable MEC. Honorable David Bloom.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. It's good to follow after a very good praise singer. Good morning, President. Good morning. Good morning, premiers, everybody. Chairperson, we are 6 months away from celebrating our 20 years of democracy. Chairperson, one message that was very loud and clear since Monday is that more and more people of Tshwane are getting restless. Their patience are running out very fast. Chairperson, on Tuesday, one lady stood up here and she said, I want to quote, I want to remind you, the ruling party, that we, the people, have put you where you are in this position of power. But over time, you have become very arrogant and you are no more listening to us, the ordinary people. You only think of yourselves and not to us, the people of the... Chairperson, many people stood up here raising the evil of nepotism, corruption in council and government departments. They were saying people with degrees, with matric certificates, well-skilled people are sitting at home and can't find work. As you can see, President, the whole hall is full, unemployed. These people are saying they don't want handouts. They want to work. They want to have their dignity back. Chairperson, on the evil of corruption, they were saying the allocation of RDP houses goes with bribery to get a house. Some of them were saying that they are on the waiting list for years, but still waiting for their houses. Chairperson, many people stood up here complaining about the poor health service in hospitals and clinics, saying that when they go for treatment, they go and collect tablets. It's either they go and sit for hours or they come empty-handed without that tablet. Chairperson, I can tell you, President, Comrade Solomon Mahlangu, Comrade Chris Hani, Comrade Joe Nhlanhla, and many of our struggle heroes will never rest in peace if we don't address and listen to our people. They sacrificed their entire lives for the better life of all, and not a better life for a few corrupt people, not a better life for few. It is very sad, Chairperson, to hear heartbreaking pleas from
Honorable
black
member.
people. I am concluding.
Honorable member.
It is very sad to hear
Honorable member.
heartbreaking pleas from black people
Honorable Bloom.
to a black government that is supposed to put people first, but people comes last in this government. I thank you.
I now call upon Councillor M. Nawa.
Honorable Chairperson of NCOP, His Excellency the President, Honorable Premiers,
Honorable Nawa. Besicela audience mamele. May go on.
Honorable Chairperson of the NCOP, His Excellency the President of South Africa, President Jacob Zuma, Honorable Premiers, Honorable Speakers in provincial legislatures, Honorable Deputy Chairperson of the NCOP, Honorable Chief Whip of the NCOP, His Excellency the Executive Mayor of Tshwane, Honorable members of the NCOP, Honorable members of the provincial legislatures, executive mayors and councillors, ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Chairperson, on behalf of the collective leadership of SALGA, let me express a sincere gratitude and profound appreciation for this opportunity of addressing the distinguished gathering. As we march to the celebration of our 20 years of democracy, we stand proud that our government has done so much in changing the lives of our people. Our government has made huge progress comparatively with any other government in the world, that we have done so much to expand services to our people. Recently, as we received the results of the 2011 census, it tells a story that local government, with all spheres of government, have done so much in changing the lives of our people. We therefore disagree with those that say nothing has happened in our communities. The proportions of households in our communities where pipe water has increased, where access to pipe water has increased, where electricity has increased, and where we have ensured that our people change their lives in our communities. We therefore argue that local government has done so much in bettering the lives of our people. It is true that there are challenges in our communities of poverty, unemployment, and underdevelopment. But what is important to indicate is that government has done so much to change the communities across the whole country. In rural places, in townships, we have seen so much progress in changing the lives of our people. It is therefore important to indicate that much of young people of South Africa have come into be so better because of this government. And local government, which is closer to the people, has increased that to ensure that our lives have changed. When President, it's important to indicate that while prevailing there are some difficulties in perpetuated by apartheid, urban planning and private sector investment decisions, cities have become more expensive to live in. These places have even more pressure on our people so that we are able to increase the local economies. It is with that concept that local government sector has asserted importance in integrated development planning. We therefore call all spheres of government to work together in integrated development planning so that together we can ensure that socio-economic development and advancement of our people. Municipalities have therefore supported and endeavored to create an environment to facilitate sustainable, vibrant, and competitive and job-creating local corporations. With the challenge of unfunded mandates and the resolution of intergovernmental debt owed to municipalities must be resolved so that local government can focus on business of development and advancement of our communities. Mr. Chair, we should celebrate the success and the achievement of our government. We should not allow those who say nothing has happened to prevail, because the truth is that, and it's evident, that anywhere you go in this country, you can't see change that what government has done in our communities. And I'm referring here, Chair, not only in the urban areas, including at rural places where our government has increased. At the same time, we should acknowledge that there still remains much to be done and intensify efforts to address the critical challenges. It is therefore critical that we, as a collective leadership of government, be hands-on in responding to the issues raised by our communities. But while acknowledging the challenges, we should also overcome the obstacles that people are saying there's nothing happening. We should emphasize that we focus on addressing all constraints and expanding accelerated good work that has been done so far. As organized local government, we are committed to working with the national and provincial spheres of government to ensure that going forward, even more significant strides are made in regard to the expectations of our people and building a better South Africa. Mr. Chair, if you allow me to clear the distortion that has happened earlier on, as mentioned by a member for the DA, I happen to be a leader of local government in the West Rand. Recently, the Premier of Gauteng visited Burgersdal, and the distortion that says she has ever said people that the ANC does not want dirty votes. I want to declare that can't be true, and it's not true, because I was in that meeting. The Premier explained that you can't allow vandalism to occur, and you say, I can't vote because I want to vandalize. And you should clarify that all votes are important, and that the government of Gauteng takes the people of Burgersdal serious. So anybody who says, she said, we don't want the dirty votes, is not true. I was in that meeting. It's an extreme distortion. I thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Nawa. I now call upon MEC Majotina.
Sihlalo wosihlalo kwindlu yebhunga lamaphondo, umongameli wesizwe okwanguye umongameli wombutho wesizwe, sihlalo nosekela sihlalo welibhunga, inkulumbuso zamaphondo, abaphathiswa i-special delegates, amalungu abalulekileyo walendlu, manene nani manenekazi, zidwangushe zezwela kowethu, ndivumeleni egameni lephondo lempuma Kapa ndizise imibuliso eshushu phakathi kwale parlamente eziswe ebantwini. Tata umongameli, mandilucelo uxolo into yoba ndimi apha, ndime ezinyaweni zikabhelekazi, upremier wephondo othe washiywa sisinqanda mathe sakhe esizawubekwa ngomso kwikhaya lokugqibela. Yiloo nto uNkulumbuso engekho apha. Kungochulumanco imigcobo nolonwabo into yoba namhlanje siyabandakanywa kule ngxoxo mpikiswano. Apha akuzange kufundiswa mantshontsho ukubhabha. Ukuba ngaba abanye abantu balala baphuphe bazibone bengurhulumente, akuzuba njalo. Kwa into yoba umuntu aqale ngokuthi ndonyuleni ndiyowuphikisa, siphikisi siphethe ilizwe apha. Asithethi kakhulu ke ngokuba ithina elingaphathanga nto lenza ingxolo. Sithetha into ezingamagaqa, into yoba lo rhulumente wabantu bakhulule njani nabantu bakhe. Kwaye abantu bakowethu mabangavumi ukubuyiselwa kundalashe ngabantu abathembisa into benganikwanga amalulukelo. Silapha kule ngxoxo mpikiswano singaqali asizanga ujonga amanqaku kuba kuyiwa elonyulweni. Umbutho wesizwe uzinzile phakathi kwabantu besizwe. Kule minyaka sithetha ngayo abanye bebengakwazi nophakamisa umnwe kurhulumente wangaphambili. Namhlanje bakhululwe ngumbutho wesizwe bathetha kamandi ngathi bakhwele kumva wehagu. Umqela siuhambile, umzila suyawushiyile sawukhwela kwaye abantu belilizwe bayazazi inkokheli zabo abazuthethela zizaphuselane. Umbutho okhokhela lo rhulumente unezicwangciso neziyofika ku-2030 kuba sazi apho sisuka khona. Asifikanga izolo sizonkowane kweli lizwe. Iphondo leMpuma Kapa kwenye yezinto eziyenzayo kukukhumbula amaqhawe namaqhawekazi. Awunawukuhambe ugcwala ilizweli ubuye uzokowuta amaqhawe wethu, kowuta le nto kuyo uyeka bethu. Bonakalisa apho into yoba imibutho engenasiseko, engenamvelaphi, engena-history, kwawufuneka ihambe iclaima history of the African National Congress leaders. Silapha ke namhlanje sisithi ngenxa yentsebenziswano norhulumente omkhulu ukhokhelwa ngumongameli, abantu baseMpuma Kapa bathi namhlanje akufani nayizolo kuba sasingayazi inkululeko. Kwafa abantu befela le nkululeko. Afika i-African National Congress yathi ukulungisa zonke into bezikho zamawaka eminyaka. Umntana ona 19 years ophakathi kwale ndlu akabi namzi, akanamntwana, akasebenzi. Ngumntu othena ozawuthi xa sine 19 years athi sasidikiwe, ubudikwe intoni? Sidibene sisebenzisana nequmrhu leSatma phaya kwela phondo iminyaka 5 sisazisa inkcubeko nomculo nemixhentso yesintu ekuzameni into yoba siqinisekise into yoba abantu bakuthi bayaphuhla nganxa zonke. Siyasaqinisekisa into yoba urhulumente uqinisa ulawulo, silwe urhwaphilizo. Bava ngathi into yoba buluphi urhwaphilizo, beva ngathi those structures were not there in the past. There was no AG report that was tabled in the public. There was no taking people to the public. Namhlanje bazoteket up. Uphicotho lwencwadi iphondo leMpuma Kapa i-audit ezisikone ezingenachaphaza 4 ezinye unqualified. Wasuka no education from disclaimer waya ku-qualified. Ithi loo nto imali zabarhafi siyazazi bazimele ukuphathwa njani na. Asizuhambe sizolahlekiswa apha ngomafika izolo. Siyaqinisekisa ke into yoba i-hotlines okanye yonke imibuzo ebifakwe kulamnxeba kamongameli kulonyaka siku 74% siphendula zonke imfuno zabantu kwaye mongameli siyaqinisekisa into yoba ulawulo lwakho siyaluva thina bakwaziyo ezakho induma zingaphambili kwaye uyaphambili sithi ke kuwe Nxamalala uze ungadinwa abagxeki abapheli njengomshumayeli banoyolo abangahlali kwimbutho zabagxeki ukutshintsha izimilo zabantu abasebenzela urhulumente sine program ethe gqolo ejongane nabasebenzi bakarhulumente into yoba mabayazi into yoba abantu bakowethu mabanikwe inkonzo ngesidima xa befike kwiofisi zethu iprogram yethu ithi masibe liphondo eliwinayo njengokuba ndimi kule ndawo iincwadi zonyaka ozayo zonke izikolo zase-Eastern Cape iincwadi zifike ngoSeptemba silungiselela unyaka ozayo i-infrastructure siyijongile into yoba makuphuhliswe iidolophu ezintsha kodwa imigaqo siyiqinisekise into yoba iyasincedisa ekuphuculeni uqoqosho iyenziwe ke loo nto iiprojekthi ezinkulu ezifana nomzimvubu dam i-Wild Coast Meandra nezinye ziliqela ngenxa yexesha ndizawuzama ukukhawulezisa akukho nelinye isebe lingenayo intloko yesebe phaya kangangokuba out of 10 departments 5 HODs are women ngoba sibhiliva into yoba umbutho wesizwe uthe gender equality ibalulekile ubuqhophololo nanibuve ngathi nendlela yokubulwa niva ngathi nendlela esawuresolva ngayo nawuphinde niyive ngathi ndiyagqibezela sihlalo osihlalo ukuzinzisa intando yeninzi kule period under review exco outreach ezi-48 zihambile siye ebantwini asizi ngevote asiza ngokwenza i-grandstanding senza laa nto sasithunywa ngabantu ngo-1994 bamasiyenze kule ndawo
Honorable MEC.
gqibele ke sihlalo wami ngokuthi eyona nto isibanga inhliziyo ebuhlungu kuphathwa kakubi koomama bebulawa nabantu abadala sisithi ke sinazo ii-white doors of hope zoncedisana nabo kwaye icebo lisesandleni zethu unendlebe nje unetyala untshuma wethu
Thank you, Honorable MEC. I now call upon MEC Skosana to take the podium.
Chairperson and Deputy Chairperson, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of South Africa,
Masithuleni sinikeza amalungu ahloniphekile ithuba umsindo phansi qhubeka lungu elihloniphekile
Honorable Ministers present here, Honorable Premiers, Honorable Executive Mayors, members of the NCOP and all MPLs, our colleagues from Salga, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Mphathiswa Majodine, ndiphase ndathi buwa. Mandithi ke ngesuthu sale eLimpopo kilaka leo. I'm deeply, Honorable Chairperson, honored for this opportunity to address this August gathering on the occasion of the NCOP taking Parliament to the people here in Soshanguve in Tshwane, held under the theme, Working Together to Ensure Socio-Economic Development and Advancement of our Communities. Honorable Chairperson, Your Excellency President, on behalf of the Honorable Premier of Mpumalanga, Mr. David Mabuza, and in the name of the people of more than 4 million people of the province of Mpumalanga, whose growth rate is 1.8 since last decade, compared to the growth rate of 1.48, I would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to the NCOP leadership for honoring us with this kind of gesture to participate in this significant event, which commenced on the 28th, concluding today by the Honorable President. Indeed, the Provincial Week is a tool through which, Honorable President, as you've said, permanent delegates to the NCOP and the legislatures are able to undertake oversight visits, interact with their communities in order to get first-hand information on the needs and challenges that are confronting the people on the ground. They also visit projects that are implemented by both national and provincial government in their respective provinces to find out whether or not progress is being made. Honorable Chairperson, the socio-economic development is not a manna from heaven. History teaches us that the important lesson that it is not unilinear, but moves in waves, bringing us into progress and setbacks. Sociologists have said that history is not theological or does not follow some predetermined path toward an inevitable outcome. Human action or agency is therefore pivotal in shaping the cause and outcomes of history. But as our president once pointed out, we make history in condition not of our own choosing. History can be reversed as attested by the collapse of many ancient civilizations, by the collapse of former Soviet bloc, and many more promising revolutionary projects. Change, Honorable Chair, and progress are not synonymous. There can be change without progress, such as, for example, distant info dictatorship. It is against this background that we ought to approach debates around the trajectory of the national democratic revolution. The NDR has reached an important juncture. One route is a naked capitalist project with non-racial minority at the helm, or mass project that substantially addresses the historical fault lines of class, race, gender, and geography. What type of a future will the current crop of youth inherit? The African National Congress and its alliance partners and all NTM formation structures are in a privileged position to contribute towards shaping the future course of the NDR. It is now tried to appreciate the relative progress of the NDR in the post-apartheid South Africa. The dominant public discourse within the ranks of democratic government leans towards a mass empowerment type revolutionary project. Cannot be taken for granted that this project will continue to be hegemonic, as illustrated by ongoing debates within the ANC-led democratic government. The contest is between two schools of thought regarding the categorization of the NDR and what is possible. At one end of the spectrum is the nascent view that by dislodging the apartheid regime, the NDR has completed its task. Of course, this is a gross simplification of the approach that has found favor within a certain section of the leadership of the mass democratic movement. In this scenario, the task of the democratic movement of government are construed in a very reformist fashion. Arguments like deracializing capitalism, a vague notion, fall within this perspective. In its crude form, it includes notions that black son must eat regardless of how wealth is generated. Honorable Chair, conceived in this narrow view, the aim of the NDR is therefore to insert the black majority and the black working class into the untransformed structures of white capital. This perspective cannot explain the reproduction of dualistic development, that is, the stupendous wealth or coexisting with mass poverty. The perspective also lacks a coherent and systematic program to eradicate the structural unemployment, intransigent inequality, and intergenerational poverty. The dominant discourse, at least in the sense of having mass appeal, is the historical position that still insists in the need for revolutionary transformation of this country. Honorable Chairperson, the past 19 years may have laid some foundation, but some needs to be done to deepen the democratic revolution. This implies that our political task is to propel the democratic revolution towards a fairly equal and transformed society. As such, it is important to guard against the hijacking of the NDR by a narrow, acquisitive, muscular, and parasitic black nationalism on the one hand. In class terms, this implies that we need to defeat the ascendancy of ideology of a minority black capitalist and professional class. On the other hand, it requires defeating white monopoly capital stronghold as represented by the DA over the economy. Capital will continue to play an important role in the current phase of the NDR. The relationship between capital and the democratic movement is one of the conflict and mutual dependency. It is also important to understand that capital is homogeneous even though it may be ideologically opposed to a radical democratic project. Capital's long-term survival requires that the economy be transformed to draw in a majority of black people into the economic mainstream from extreme levels of disempowerment. For as long as the economy narrowly depends on the consumption by a minority capital, we'll seek opportunities elsewhere. Honorable Chair, the antidote to the narrow nationalist ideology is the liberatory non-racial politics of the democratic movement. At the core of this non-racialism is the acceptance that we need a project of mass empowerment that addresses the systematic nature of inequality and exclusion. It is against this background that the ANC government has to defend and deepen the national democratic revolution. South Africa's inequality means that many of our people cannot enjoy the political and socio-economic rights enshrined in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Consequently, as government, we must empower the masses of our people to take advantage of the democratic space that has been opened. It requires that we reorganize our people to participate in structures of popular participation in policy making. Our people are guided by the slogan, "Nothing about us without us." Honorable Chair, in March 2013, the Honorable Premier Titi Mabuza made important announcements and implementation thereof has taken place as we participate in this debate today. For instance, the Premier, with regard to creating decent work and sustainable livelihood, he made an observation that despite the shrinkage of economic growth between 2010 and 2011, the provincial economy managed to create 36,000 jobs between the fourth quarter of 2010 and the fourth quarter of 2012. Also made mention of the reality that while there is a slight positive development around issue of poverty and job creation, evidently the overall socio-economic outlook of the province presents enormous challenges lying ahead. It is a situation that demands from all of us to redouble our joint efforts if we have to achieve the targets as set out in the Mpumalanga Economic Growth and Development Path.
Honorable Member, your speaking time has expired.
Thank you very much.
I now call upon Honorable Tao.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, His Excellency President Jacob Zuma of the Republic of South Africa. All protocol observed in order to save a few seconds. Honorable Chair, let me be tempted to put this thing away in order to tell the people the truth. Because sometimes we take such platforms in order not to be truthful. Resa bolelele batho ba rona nnete. And mme ke batla go tshumula ka gore la mona Honorable Bloom, what Congress of what? Agit.
And lead DA, rona jaka maloko a parliament, go na le selo se re se bitsang re re ke division of revenue. And ke batla go itlhalosa sentle. Go na le selo se re se bitsang re re ke division of revenue. And ka division of revenue kana ke molao o ileng gore wa re ke tšhelete e feng e tshwanetse e ye ko provinceng e feng e ye ko departmenteng e feng. Jaanong ha re bua nnete ke batla go tshumula ka gore when we passed the division of revenue, COPE and the Democratic Alliance, they voted against education budget vote. If they vote against the education budget vote, it means therefore, batho ba rona ga nkitla ba kgona go agela dikolo. Go raya gore batho ba rona bana ba rona ga nkitla ba na le dibuka ko sekolong. Go raya gore ma-teacher ga nkitla kgona go patala. Go raya gore therefore, the education system in the country will collapse. And then the next thing they want to come and posture here and present themselves as serving the interests of our people. What a blatant lie. Another very important issue during this week, but the DA and the COPE voted against the budget vote, housing and human settlement. What does that mean? It means that Gauteng ga nkitla ena le tšhelete ya matlo. It means that Tshwane ga nkitla ena le tšhelete ya matlo. It means that batho ba rona ga nkitla ba kgona go na le di-RDP houses. Go raya gore batho ba rona ga nkitla ba na le metsi. Go raya gore batho ba rona ga nkitla ba na le sanitation. Why do you come and stand here and not tell our people the truth? The DA and the Democratic and COPE, they voted against the budget vote, metsi. And if they do so, it means therefore, the department metsi will not be able then to have a budget to roll out gore batho ba rona ba kgone go na le metsi. And ha batho ba rona ba sena metsi ya ka go buiwa throughout the week, it means therefore, ngwana gago ga nkitla ngwana bana ba rona ga nkitla ba kgona go tlhapa. Bana ba rona ga nkitla ba kgona go tlhatswa di-uniform tsa bone. Go raya gore bana ba rona ga nkitla ba kgona go ja because of mama ga ana metsi go apela ngwana motogo mo mosong. But you come here and want to present as if you care. You don't care for our people. Batho ba rona during the week, ban balela ka di-clinic. But the very same COPE and the DA, they voted against the budget vote, health. And if they vote against the budget vote, health, it means therefore, no more clinics shall be constructed. There won't be drugs at the disposal of nurses and doctors in order to prescribe for batho ba rona. It means therefore, batho ba rona ba tla bobola, ba tla be ba tlhokofale ka gona eng, ga gona dipilisi ko ditleliniking. Me rona as the ANC, we voted in favor of this budget vote because of we care. We know where our people come from. We know the history of our people and the struggle of our people. Once more, I want to tell the truth. The very same Honorable Bloom under the organization COPE, Monday, I was here since Monday. Ke participator ke ready tse batho ba rona. But the most unfortunate, Honorable President, Honorable Bloom only arrived on Wednesday. Where does he get this thing of our people having complained on Monday and Tuesday and all that? He was not here on Monday. He was not here on Monday. So therefore, he cannot stand here with authority and tell us what happened on Monday. It is for that reason, Chairperson.
Order. Honorable Bloom. Order. Tulanum Sindo. Honorable Bloom.
Chairperson, it is not correct for an honorable member to mislead a house, to say that I was not here.
Honorable Bloom, sit down. That's not a point of order. Continue, honorable member. Continue.
No, thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Chair, that then brings me to the point that says that central to our work of taking Parliament to the people is in actual fact defined by the very same African National Congress that I'm standing here on behalf. We have a history that has taught us, we have a culture and a tradition that has always guided us to show that we care for our people and we involve our people in defining their own development and growth. Therefore, it cannot be correct for the DA to come and stand in front of us and define what public participation is through a narrow neoliberalist way of ensuring that we capture public participation. Our public participation process is informed of love and care and ensuring that there is growth and development and linking up with our people and not only relying on internet and SMSs. It is for that reason, Chair, when we went out from Monday during our site visits, we visited a very important institution, Mpepu Learnership Early Learning Institution, under the leadership of Mesik Sissoko. The institution is an early learning institution. It is 31 years old. They are celebrating 31 years November. And it is this institution that Mesik Sissoko started way back with an understanding of ensuring that the only way to resolve our people's problems is to get involved in their daily lives and participate in that. Today, they can boast of doctors, they can boast of nurses, they can boast of teachers that have gone through that learning institution. I'm raising this by appealing to the province and, of course, the metro to assist the institution, because there are some challenges that we have picked up which we think that through your intervention they will be able to be resolved. The other issue that I think it is important that as the National Council of Provinces, we need to raise in this particular debate, Chair, for the attention of National Executive through His Excellency the President, is the fact that on Monday we received an input by SALGA, and in that input, SALGA presented an issue to us insofar as the challenges that the metro is faced with insofar as providing services for people whom they were expected to incorporate, and as a result, that policy position was never followed by money. And as a result of that, there is a possibility that the municipality or the district or the metro might have a shortfall of about 1 billion rand, which can negatively affect their prospects of providing services to our people. And I thought that it is important that as the National Council of Provinces, we raise this particular issue. So it is for that reason, Chairperson, that we stand here as a council to remind once more our people that the African National Congress, much as many people would want to make us to believe that we are corrupt, let me remind those, including those who were part of the processes and later on decided to move out of the African National Congress, those who were there in 1997 in Mafikeng, those who were there in 2002 in Stellenbosch, and those who were there in 2007 in Polokwane. But unfortunately, after Polokwane, they decided to move out of the African National Congress. To say, central to our resolution and consistently, we have said we will fight corruption. We have even defined corruption in one of our General Council as a devil that must be uprooted in our society. Thank you very much.
I now call upon the Honorable Premier of Gauteng.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair of Chairs, Our President, His Excellency Jacob Zuma, the Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, and the leadership of the NCOP, the Executive Mayor of the City of Tshwane and councillors from Tshwane, my colleagues, Executive Premiers who are here together with the special delegates representing provinces, MECs present, members of the National Assembly, members of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature, fellow South Africans, a very good afternoon. I want to dedicate my response to one of our true patriots, an internationalist who came to South Africa, a woman who identified with our sufferings and joined the liberation movement as an activist for the rights of women, but as well as for the emancipation of the people of South Africa. It is not the Helen that you have heard about, but it is our Helen, one and only Helen Joseph, who has actually been with us for the fight for freedom and democracy in South Africa. The reason why re bua ka mmeo ke hore re tlameile hore re bule matlo, re bule ditsebe, ha bo mabina ho tsholwa ba hlagella ba re ne ba le teng, re ba tlhalosetse hore re a ba tseba bao ba neng ba le teng, ba na le rona, le bao ba neng ba le teng mo mekgatlong e nngwe ya go lwanela tokologo. Bothata ke hore go tla yang hore o tswe o le from a pan-Africanist and go to a democratic alliance. It means you have never actually been a true pan-Africanist, because a true pan-Africanist cannot necessarily be the one today who pursues neoliberal policies and the agenda to undermine the emancipation of the people of South Africa. And therefore, what you must forever say once more is that it is Helen Joseph who was with those who have also said that le mohlang ke shweleng, ha Modimo a sa nkile, seo ke tla se etsang ke hore ke tla batla mokgatlo wa African National Congress le hodimo moo leng teng. And that's the reason why, as the African National Congress-led government in Gauteng, we are not shy to identify with leaders like Helen Joseph, but our own Nelson Mandela, that has also acknowledged that he is Nelson Mandela of the African National Congress. He's what he is because of the ANC, and the world knows him and embraces him because of what the African National Congress stands for, and what he emulates is the African National Congress. Just 21 years ago, here in Soshanguve, here in Winterfeld, you can ask even Bonkhono, Libom Mebaruna, Reneresa Tebe Parlamente King. Kashe Kuka Hore Runa really Muso, Oi Kahisam Pepeneneng, Muso Oi Karabela Mobatung. Reza maya nachayotle re itlhagisa mo bathong, re fetsa matsatsi re buisana le batho, re leka go rarabolla mathata le batho ba rona. And then those who come because we have brought them to our people believe that what they have had here today is something that has emerged just 4 or 19 years ago. Honorable President, here in Tshwane, MEC Maetula Khoza and yourself we're actually having an occasion, Libong Khono, Limakrekwa Runa, Mani Union Building. And one of the old ladies who was there was an old lady of almost 130 years. Atamaya Lungwana Wahaye of 91 years, who for the first time, Ukadile Hubama Stensi, Hana Lidi Limote 114. Seo se bontsha hore o qadile ho ba mongantlu o kuba ngumastandi under this democratic government led by the African National Congress. We were not there hang khono ana le dilemo tse 20 We were not there when she was 50. We were not there when she was 70, when she was 100. But we were there when she was 114. And we must also remind those who today want to claim that our people are losing patience with us, that this old lady could not even be a property owner just 22, 25 years ago, because milaw ya apartheid ne re lona bo mmemo ba Soshanguve, those who are waiting for houses. In the olden days, you will not apply for a house umuntu wesifazane noch al ungashadile, noch al umyeni wakho eshonile. Today, this government here in Gauteng have contributed matlu akanaka 800,000 of the 2.4 million houses that have been built in South Africa. Rotleleng matso. Because what has happened is that Mona Gauteng, Mr. President, chairperson of the NCOP, lae goli kusembiza. Ya fitlang Gauteng ha re motebele. Ya fitlang Gauteng ha re mobitsi motswantle. Ya tswang pudungwana a phumeng kantla e phume tsofimva ba kopitsi di sule jwang. Ha fitla dipetleleng tsa rona. Ha re mmatli slipi sa masipala to show hore ke moduli wa tropo yeo. Unlike in other provinces here in South Africa, where our people in Kukuletu can't go across the rail line to a health facility unless they show their rates and taxes slip. Because we believe that South Africa belongs to all those who live in it. Here in our province, Mr. President, the issue of immigration is not a problem. It is a responsibility that we have embraced. This city of Tshwane is growing in leaps and bounds because people come with an assumption that there's a better life in Gauteng, which, by the way, Stats South Africa says Gauteng is now a better place to live in. But when our people arrive, we do not actually humiliate them by bringing in other people to remove them. What we do, we provide, as it has been proven by Stats SA, that Mona Gauteng, we have built 800,000 houses. We have almost 80% of our residents that are living in formal housing. That shows an improvement of 74%, higher than any other, including Leana Madam, Helen, not to Joseph, but another one. We have also, in this particular province, Honorable President and members of the National Council of Provinces, Batho ba rona, yes, bana le mathata a metsi even here. But we must remember, Winterfeld used to not have water. These places used to have water tanks. Today in Gauteng, 98.2% of our households have access to piped water compared to the whole country, which is at 91.2%. Shaileni izandla. Ha re fetsa moo, le ha hona le mathata ko Jeffsville, we don't just turn our back against people in the informal settlements. We provide mobile facilities, such as mobile sanitation, mobile water supply. We provide mobile clinics. And I can tell you, through the health services in Gauteng, selemo le selemo, bana ba tswalwang dipetlele le ditleliniki mona Gauteng are more than 200,000. And they're not only bana ba batho ba dulang Gauteng. Others are from other provinces, but others are even beyond the borders of South Africa, because indeed, South Africa is part of Africa, and South Africa belongs to all those who live in it. And kashekule, we can even say, mutlakasi is not something ya batho ba nang le bokgoni. In this province with high levels of in-migration, we can pride ourselves that use of electricity has increased from 78 to 87%. But I also want to say, rona re le mmuso wa Gauteng, re sebedisana le bo masipala, we can also confidently share with those who say our people are losing patience, because rona re a tseba mathata a batho ba rona, we are not tourists. tlala ke mo re tsalwang teng tlhokafalo ya mesebetsi ke mo re tlang teng empa se se leng bohlokwa ska mosotho a re sedikwa ke ntšapedi ya sethata re sebetsa le batho ba rona bosiu le motshehare to improve the quality of life of our people. Today, Chair of the Council of Provinces, Mr. President, we can pride ourselves as this province that we have built roads that are better off than any other province, and what we don't want, kore batho ba mona Gauteng ba sa sebedising mebila eo e metle e re ahileng ba lefele ebile re batle le batho ba ba tswang in other provinces ba dulang in other provinces to pay for these roads. What we want is to generate revenue in Gauteng so that Kofinva Bakala Pitsidi Sulejang can prosper because of the wealth that we create here in Gauteng. God bless Helen Joseph. God bless Nelson Mandela. Thanking Yabong.
Order. I now call upon His Excellency, the President of the Republic of South Africa, to respond to the debate. Honorable President.
Thank you very much.
Siyabonga ke masihlalen phansi sithule. Masithuleni sonke ke umongameli usuyaphendula ke manje.
Thank you, Chairperson of the NCOP, members of Parliament, the community, and invited guests. Now, firstly, let me convey our feelings about one of our veterans who has left us, known as Daunyana, the honorary life president of the PSL, who will be laid to rest this coming Sunday. I think it is important for us as we meet here to convey our sympathy and condolences to the family and the loving soccer community in our country. He has been with us for a while. As I say, he's a veteran. Chairperson, your speakers, starting from yourself, have debated extensively. And indeed, many things have been said. Some very profound, some not at all profound. It is in the nature of Parliament. People debate, and I think Umakeba captured this when he said we should not come here and point fingers. We should come here to be constructive. But Chairperson, you indicated that Parliament being taken to the people helps to implement what we call the participatory democracy, wherein people have an opportunity to interact and speak. I believe that in itself indicates an important point, that South Africa today is different from what it was before 1994. There was never a situation where we could meet and discuss with the people who are governing the country. Today we do. there was no parliament that could leave Cape Town to come to the people and hear what their views were on every matter, for that matter. That was before 1994. Now, we can. We can listen to ordinary people raising issues that are very pertinent to them, as well as complaining where it is necessary to complain or making appeals. That in itself indicates the fact that South Africa is different. And also that indeed people are participating in the affairs of their country. As I said earlier, visiting different provinces and meeting with the people makes us have the first-hand knowledge of what the people feel and what do they say, so that we do not interpret them when they are not there. Chairperson, South Africa is better than what it was before 1994. We speak a lot about housing and houses. You can make a research and check whether is there any country in the world, particularly those who came from struggling, who liberated themselves, that ever had a program to give poor people houses for free. Never. Only in South Africa. Only after 1994. That in itself indicates how much we as government have taken decisions to change the quality of the lives of our people for the better. Because housing is one of the most important things to any human being. In other places, people see it to themselves. And that's why I would support the point made by one of the speakers who said people must not receive houses and sell them or make them a business, because it is an important contribution that the country is making to individuals who are poor. So let us not create a problem when the government is trying to bring a solution. I would want to support the point, I think it was made by Honorable Member Makeba. Chair, the speakers have indicated how much we have changed the country and how much we are working hard to ensure that the country changes. Your very theme that says working together to ensure socio-economic development and advancement of our communities indicates the belief. Because once again you can look at policies of countries that liberated themselves, whether you will find such emphasis on the work towards changing the lives of the poor people. We do it here, and it is indeed one of the things that makes us proud, that we work very hard with all the challenges. And it is true that as this government, we spoke about corruption and said there was corruption, Nobody has ever talked about corruption before 1994. And we also said we are going to fight it. We took a resolution to fight corruption. And we have created structures to fight corruption. And we are fighting it. There are many people who have been arrested. Some were tried, some who have been convicted, some who have made it to pay back the money of government. It has never happened before. Only after 1994 can you say corruption is something that we are all fighting. It was never fought. It cannot therefore be correct for people to say these people are corrupt. It's a propaganda. It's a propaganda made by people who have no responsibility because they are not in government. And they can therefore just talk carelessly. Unfortunately, we know some of them. We've been with them. Hey. But of course, in politics, people can say things. But I think it is important to put the record straight. I don't think it is honest to say we are worse off than what we were before 1994. That cannot be an honest statement. I think it is important to acknowledge advances that this country has done and then identify the weaknesses. That is a very fair criticism. But if you stand up and say nothing has happened, these people are useless, why should we listen to you really? Because we are just talking. Because talking, you don't pay for it. It's free. I believe that all the inputs, Chairperson, have been absolutely wonderful. I listened to all of them, and I think if I were to respond to each and every one of them, it will take a longer time. All I was saying, all of us, as we move towards celebrating 20 years of our freedom and democracy, we should be proud as South Africans. I have traveled around. There are many people who feel they should be South Africans, who envy us because they say we have done wonders. And we have done wonders. We are a special people. We are a wonderful people, though we have our own challenges. But we don't look away. We look at the challenges and work out ways and means of solving our problems. We have never claimed victories only. We always say there are difficulties. We are doing everything we can to do so. I believe, and I've said this before, that no country that liberated itself, that in 19 years, it was able to make such delivery as we have. Some countries, in fact, deteriorated at independence. They went back when the colonialists left. They were worse off than what they were. There's no country that has programs so concentrated to try to change the conditions of the country. We have, for an example, reconfigured departments of government in order to quicken the process of addressing the legacy of apartheid. We, for an example, created a department which we call performance monitoring and evaluation, so that we can monitor what government does And it is paying back to us because we are in a position today to know where are the weaknesses, what is that we need to do in other parts or elements of government. We divided a huge department, education, and created basic education and higher education. No one can say has not noticed what has happened in education. Today, we have many poor schools or poor areas with schools where no fees are paid. It was never like that before 1994. It is like that now. There is no child in South Africa who cannot go to school because he or she comes from a poor family. It's guaranteed. Today, we have revived at the level of higher education colleges that were no longer in existence. And we have taken the culture of free education to them, to poor kids. If the child is poor, will get the opportunity in the FETs. Iqiniso ngempela. No one can say nothing has happened in this country. We have worked and we continue to work. We have produced a plan for the country. No country has a plan like the National Development Plan. That is accepted by everyone. We are the only people who have done so. All of us, as we work, we know what we are doing. We are implementing a national plan, whether we are in the local government or provincial government or national government. You are supposed, even if you are outside of government, to be working towards implementing that plan. This country is different than what it was before 1994. We brought non-racialism in South Africa. In a country that had an institutionalized racism, every South African is free, belongs to South Africa, regardless of your color or religion. We liberated the religions that were not recognized. Today, you worship the way you want to worship. You are free to do so. You are free to air your views, no matter how your views, as long as you are not insulting. You can wake up, anybody can wake up any day and just say, you know, this president, you know, he's X, Y, Z. You can't say it in other countries. It's never said. It's freedom here. You can speak and say anything. That's the difference. If before 1994, you said a president of this country was something, you'd been Robben Island. That's a reality. So I'm saying South Africa is better than what it was before. I can go on and on and on and on. It's important for us to know that, because if we don't know, and if we listen to people who exaggerate, to people who are negative, you'll begin to feel unhealthy because we are listening to negative things. They make you have headaches, get sick. You might even miss the point by beginning to think that you needed to choose people who will do absolutely nothing for you, who just talk. They will end up just talking and talking and talking. They will ever do anything. They are not in government. They are not implementing any policy. They have no policy. They've got everything to say to criticize correct policies. So don't be misled. South Africa is a wonderful place. Absolutely. And we are wonderful people. Once again, Chairperson, continue this program of going to the people. It's the best to give the people an opportunity to talk, to engage with their parliament, with their public representatives. It's absolutely a good one. That's why we can't miss it, because it's so important to hear, even to hear what provinces are doing. They've got an opportunity here to tell us what is that they are doing as provincial governments. It's absolutely important. That's democracy. I said this yesterday in one place where people were stopping somebody to speak. And I said, no, that somebody must be given an opportunity to speak. Because the essence of democracy is that people are free to speak. And you must be tolerant, even if you don't agree with what they say. Because they may not agree with what you say, but you want them to listen to you. It's very important. That's an essence of democracy. We must emphasize this, because it was only in conditions of oppression where we are not allowed to speak. You were given a burning order. You must not speak. We can't say so, Tina, in our own kind of culture and say you can't speak here. Allow a person to speak. I pedele nje umuntu abheda mbuke nje. Because if you don't do so, you create a situation which was not necessary for somebody to feel important. Dedela umuntu abhede. Kasuthu baring umuntu obhede. Wabuda. Wahema. But Chair, thank you very much indeed. This is wonderful. Keep it up. Thank you very much.
Whoa. Hlalani phansi. Masithuleni umsindo. Sesiyaqeda, hlalani phansi. Honorable members, kukhona sizokwenza masinyane uma ngivala lendlu, 2 minutes only. Isikhathi sethu sesambile. Khona abanye abazawushiya indiza zabo, sifuna bahambe baye emakhaya basebenzile. Ngithanda ukubonga isiti yaseTshwane. Basi kukhona abantu ebebakhala ukuthi abanama wheelchairs lana phakathi kweviki. Isiti yaseTshwane isiphe 20 wheelchairs. Niyabona ukuthi iyasebenza ke le program. Yeah. Lalelani ke sizokwenza kanje. Ngizocela umongameli, ngicele upremier waseGauteng, ngicele uexecutive mayor weTshwane, bathatha nje 2 minutes uma ngiqeda ukuvala lendlu, bayonikeza amabili ama wheelchairs nawa ya nina nihlale phansi ningahambi. Akukho umuntu ophumayo upresident angahambi. Bazonikezela ngalawa awu2. I-City of Tshwane iza kusupply amanye kulabo bantu abakhubazekile abadinga ama wheelchairs. Bazasale bakulungisa lokho. Sizokwenza 2 nje kuphela. Okunye ngithanda ukukumemezela. I-City of Tshwane ingitshelile ukuthi iviki elizayo bayo distributor lo bakubiza ngokuthi ngama dignity packs ezikolweni. Ningamangaliki uma sebafika lapho bazo distribute. Ngithanda ubabonga kakhulu. I-dignity packs ke is a very big terminology. Kungikose ukuthi ngiyovula i-dictionary ngibheke ukuthi kusho ukuthini. Kodwa nani nizawubona ukuthi yini, angichazi ngicina lapho. Okwamanje ke ngizovala indlu, ngicela umongameli, ngicela upremier, ngicela uexecutive mayor baye lapha yana. Uma umongameli no-premier no-executive mayor bephuma beqedile seningaphuma ke nani indlu izabe seyivaliwe. The house is adjourned, the procession will go out. Thank you very much.
We've come to the end of this program, the culmination of a 5-day marathon NCOP program which took place here in Tshwane. The president responded to the debates that took place earlier on, and key things that came out were that we all need to work together as a nation, but more so, it has been appreciated that Parliament has come to the people where they are needed. Currently, the Premier of Gauteng, the President of the country, and the Executive Mayor of the city of Tshwane, Mr. Ramokgopa, they will hand out in a ceremony the wheelchairs, which are a donation to those who complained during the week that they are in desperate, dire need of wheelchairs. It was only this week that they raised those concerns, and the city of Tshwane responded adequately by offering 20 wheelchairs. And as we are currently looking at them, they will get all those wheelchairs that they needed. A number of other issues came up earlier on. You might have seen the MEC of Social Development in the Eastern Cape, Dr. Pemi Majodina, responding, saying that the Eastern Cape, her province, and she was representing the Premier, who sadly could not join us, and the MEC was saying that there were 17 successful cooperatives that side, and the problems in the Free State were also mentioned, but the successful Zone Youth Project was the high point with the Free State, who are saying that gangsterism is a problem that side. However, they've identified a project to eradicate that program. The Gauteng issue also, they spoke about the issue of title deeds, particularly where we are, saying that residents were complaining during the week that they don't have title deeds, and something has been put into place to make sure that that problem has been elevated, together with the problem of Nyaope, if you want, substance abuse predominant in this area, was also raised. So those were everyday issues, and it was refreshing to hear that it was not issues that are high there only at a national level, but also where we are, issues have been raised, and issues it has been promised that they will be dealt with appropriately. The House was adjourned by the chairperson of the NCOP, Mninawa Mahlangu, and now that the House was adjourned, it was said that this will be the handing out ceremony of wheelchairs, but then people will remain in the House until the President has formally left as protocol dictates. You'd remember that I mentioned earlier in the broadcast that